We're gonna listen to some Kanye while I get everything set up. Hello, 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 hello. This is the Queen of Credit here. Hello, come in, show some digital love. This is Sunday. Hello, Larry. Let me see if I need to add more brightness to my background light. Just a little bit. Hello, thank you. Hello, Bruno from California. Get my laptop here. It's the Queen of Credit. It's Sunday too, so let me get some turn this up while I get. This for California, right? Uh-oh. Hold up. My tripod is falling down. Guess the weight is too much. Give me a second. Let me adjust this. Okay, because I got two phones on it, so I think that's gonna hold it up a little bit. Everything's sliding now. All right. Let me put this right here. Hello, Periscope. Got Periscope on. I got Facebook and YouTube. All right. I'm going to send that email tomorrow. Okay, Bruno. Well, remember, Bruno, like I told you, once you agree and you're paying on a debt, right? Once you agree to a debt and you're paying on it, it makes it that much more difficult to get it removed from your credit reports. So what's going on in your case is you agreed to a debt you were paying on, and now you're in disputing it's some of the content of it, and you know that doesn't make it more difficult, especially when we get into charge off and collections. So you know, when you made those agreements of terms of services, it kind of breached the contract. So, so I don't really know what that email, Bruno, will be in reference to. Now, the people on Periscope can see my shirt. So I'm not bossy, I'm the queen. So if you don't know who I am on Periscope, my name is 𝒞𝓇𝑒𝒾𝓉, but I'm also known as the Queen of Credit. Cashflow, some people might say I'm the Queen of Cashflow, and collections, because I also dispute debt collections or debt collectors. So I have a lot, not a lot to discuss, but just a lot I want to cover. So this for my Facebook, YouTube audience. I want to share with you on how credit cards can make you rich, in particular, and that would also follow in your credit as well, right? So that would also follow in having good credit, and how having good credit will make you rich. So if you have a mortgage, or you or anyone who wants to have a mortgage, you definitely want to stick around for this knowledge. I know it's football Sunday. Hello from Louisiana. Thank you, Timothy. Larry, that statement came so fast and so quick. I know you say you have a charge off in collection, and I guess you're saying that you disputed the collection agency directly, Larry. Is that correct? On YouTube? Assuming you're saying you disputed that charge off directly, and now that charge off, the company will cease to collect. Okay, so the company will stop the collection. You disputed directly with the company, and will that also come off of your credit report? I'm sorry, I just hit my other phone. No, not auto. I'm sorry, it's something on Instagram. It will not come off your credit report automatically. You have to dispute all three credit agencies. Now, if you have something from the company that's saying that, or debt collector, okay, if you have something from the debt collector that's stating that you do not owe or is not a valid debt, that could be leverage. Give me 1 second to adjust this. Okay, that could be leverage to send it in to the credit agencies to see if they then will delete it from your credit report. But just because that collector, that debt collector in particular, will cease collection, which is a very, very, that's great that they cease collection, because I tell people all the time, they think that once something is automatically, let me adjust this, deleted from their, give me 1 second, automatically deleted from their credit report, that they do not owe the original creditor. And that's not the case, right? So that's not the case. So I'm trying to make sure, I think I'm live on all my platforms now. I think I am, I'm not sure. I think it's live. So that's not always the case. Well, it's not the case a lot of times, because if you owe that original creditor, right, just because it's off your credit report does not mean you stop paying that debt. The credit agencies, it's just like your report card if you were in school. They only report your paying your financial experiences, but they're not the people you owe. So what can happen in a situation, for example, let's get with a student loan, because everyone wants to know, if a student loan gets deleted off of my credit report, will I still owe the student loan? And the answer to that question is yes, you will. You will still owe that student loan. You still will owe the original creditor. But some positive parts of that is that if any of the credit agencies, is reporting that inaccurately, if they have anything incorrect from the balance, from your payment terms to the account numbers, those are grounds to get it deleted. However, if you don't pay that student loan debt, right? Well, okay, it follows that you. If you don't pay, it can be reinserted back on there, or if you don't set up some type of agreement or with the student loan services that you're going to be in default or whatever the situation may be. Now it becomes a negative mark, and it can be reinserted and put back on your credit report. Speaking of reinsertion, I didn't want to really get into the credit, but I will. A lot of people ask me also about credit sweep, like exactly how does credit sweeps work? Well, a credit sweep is grounds to get quick removal off your credit report if you are a victim of identity theft, right? So what will happen is, with the credit sweep, you are stating that, hey, I'm a victim of identity theft, this information is not accurate. And what the credit agencies will do will block that information temporarily. They would temporarily block that information in order to give them an opportunity to investigate it, right? So they'll block it temporarily because you're saying it's identity theft, so they don't want this to hurt or harm you in any way during the investigation process. And the credit agencies by law have 30 days to investigate any account. And during that 30 days, if they come back after discussing this with creditors and say, hey, this account is valid, this belongs to this person, it was not a issue of identity theft, then those accounts can be reinserted or replaced back on your credit report. So a lot of people, they get excited about credit sweeps, and then maybe after 45 days, those accounts, those negative accounts reappear. And that's why, because your information was just temporarily suppressed. So I started my video with Kanye West Sunday service on. So I always want to dedicate a Sunday or Wednesday to, I'm not bossy, I'm the queen. A Sunday, queen of credit, cash flow, or debt collector. A Sunday or Wednesday to implement something biblical perspective into my credit and cash flow teaching. So you all indulge me for a moment. If you have any questions, then I'm going to dive into credit cards and how they can make you rich. So you definitely want to stay all the way to the end. So if you have any questions, can you wait to the end to totally keep focus? My intentions is 8:06 is to end these live videos, preferably about 8:15. So let's get into credit church. You all show me some digital love. I'm on. Let me adjust the volume. I'm on 4 different platforms at one time. So give me some hearts. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. I have people live even on YouTube, right? But I only see 1 thumbs up. Instagram, show some digital love. Periscope, show some digital love. Hit those hearts. Facebook, hit those hearts. Thank you so much, Instagram, for the thumbs up. Okay, hit those hearts on Facebook and Instagram and Periscope, right? Show some digital love, right? Queen of Credit, Cashflow and Debt Collectors. I love digital. I love digital love. So let's get into the Bible. Thank you so much. I love you. Got me green digital hearts. I love green and gold. As you can see, my fingers. I love green and gold. So, as a matter of fact, if you can, thank you, Larry, on YouTube. Drop some green and gold emojis as well. So, credit church. Who took my blessing, right? Or who took my money? That's what a lot of people want to know. Who took my blessing and who took my money? Thank you for the digital love on Periscope. And so some things I want to go over is the cost of bad credit, right? The cost of bad credit. Now we know if you follow anything with church and giving, Pastor Benny Hinn just made a profound statement that a lot of people in the Christian community are talking about. And he's saying, hey, I give up preaching and teaching about the prosperity gospel, right? So that brought about a great discussion in the church and credit in the church world as it relates to finances and your money and giving. Now, hello Timothy on Facebook. Thank you for, YouTube. Thank you for the digital love Facebook. And so Benny Hinn says, okay, I denounce. I'm not preaching anymore about the prosperity gospel. I don't believe in it. And if you watch those commentaries on YouTube about Benny Hinn, I didn't know they was living this lavish lifestyle, right? I mean the jet airplanes, the $25,000 suite, and that they were living in and preaching in. And so I didn't know, honestly, that the gospel was that lucrative, money. And so this probably is not going to be what you think I'm going to say. But after he made Jesus from California said, Benny Hinn said after he made $100 million, right, now he wanted to denounce the prosperity gospel. So that's a good point. So I'm going to start with credit church, and then I'm telling you, stay all the way to the end, because I'm going to break down how credit cards, if you never heard of velocity banking, if you never heard of balance transfer, if you never heard how to convert credit cards into cash so you can get the money to invest, because I have people that have over 700 credit scores and they are not making money off of their credit scores, right? So I want to show you how to make money off of your credit. I want you to know that anything reported on your credit report inaccurately, right, or negatively can be disputed and it can be deleted, right? You just have to know the law, you have to know the language, right, and you have to know the process, right? But so everyone can have great credit. Everyone can have great credit. But back to credit church, and then we're going to tie this up into the actual facts of credit. So you all make sure you hit the thumbs up and you like and share this video. So Pastor Benny Hinn, one of my followers or YouTube comment after he made $100 million, said, hey, I denounce this prosperity gospel. I don't, want to preach it. Now, if you think that I'm going to be anti-tithing, which means I'm going to tell you that you should not give your tent to the church, then I will not do that. I'm going to tell you I am a religious tither. I've tithed all my life. Any book that you read on prosperity is going to tell you to give 10% of your earnings to either a church or a charity. There is no book on whether it's Think and Grow Rich, whether it's Jim Rohn, whether it's Automatic Millionaire. There is no book on prosperity, no book on how to get riches and wealth, no information out there on how to stop living paycheck to paycheck that would not tell you to give your 10%. So number one, that is one of the keys. That is one of the keys to unlock a financial flow, a positive financial flow into your life. So if you are not giving 10% to a church or a charity, Robert Kiyosaki teaches this. All the financial gurus, Dave Ramsey teaches this. There is no one that teaches on Grant Cardone, right? That teaches on finances and wealth that will not tell you to do this. So if you're struggling and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you need to analyze that first. You need to look at, am I giving any percentage of the money I make into a church or a charity, right? That's the number one thing you should look at. But many churches in particular, right, they teach on the 10%. They teach on to give your tithes and give your offering, but they seldom teach you about the 90%. Right? How do I get a return on my how do I be blessed, with this? And let me tell you what the tithe and offering is not. Let me tell you what the 10% is not. It's not an insurance policy to protect you from financial happenings occurring in your life. It's not a financial policy that when I give this 10%, my vehicles won't break down. My vehicles won't need maintenance. It's not a investment. It's not an investment funnel, right? Where, okay, if I give 10%, then automatically my 90% is going to bring me this 100% rate of return. What it is it's showing, number one, that you have the right relationship and mindset about money, and that you are willing to be a giver. And once you have proven to be a giver, the universe or God has a way of bringing good things back to you in the form of what you gave out or what you didn't give out, right? And so I'm a tither. I've given big, for me, what I think is big is $1,000 offering, not once, not twice, but many times into the church. But what we don't get is, let's start with the famous scripture about tithing and giving, is Malachi chapter 3, that's quotes that bring your tithes or your tent, your storehouse, into the storehouse. Now we know that the storehouse then was where they stored food, and this was in perspective to food. But even in the New Testament, it tells us to give, right? And one of the reciprocities of giving is, it shall be given unto you in good measure, right? And in good measure, right? And some people will receive a 30-fold return, some a 60-fold, and some a 100-fold, according to the Bible, right? So I believe the Bible is the number one book, the bestseller on prosperity. So if you're not giving, right, then you may be stopping reciprocal ideas and thoughts of how to gain more money to come into your life or flow into your life. I said I'm also the cash flow queen, and one way to block your cash flow is to not give out, right? Because in order to receive in, it's reciprocity. Like I said, the universe of God, there has to be an exchange. That's the way life works. And so, but what I don't believe is anyone that would tell you or suggest to you that, hey, if you give this $1,000 offering, it will break the back of poverty into your life. I don't believe that, because if you don't know the 90%, right, then the 10% will not work in its full effect in your life. And you could very well be a giver, but you don't recognize how to receive, right? Because I'm from Mississippi, and I say all the time, my grandparents, they were farmers, right? And the tools that they used to sow seed into the ground with and to break the ground up were not the same tools that they used to harvest with. So it's different tools, it's different laws that you have to manifest into your life. See, when you give out, one of the reciprocity things that's returned to you is ideas and thoughts about what you can implement to be more prosperous. What are your gifts? What are your talents? What do you have? And a lot of times we don't harvest these talents. We don't act on these things. I'm coming before you live, right? And I'm giving you knowledge and wisdom. But all people won't take action to this free information, to this free knowledge and their wisdom. They'll listen and they listen, but they are stopping their harvest. They're stopping the rate of return. Another thing that you don't hear in many churches, and I believe the church should teach this, because if you're an institution that's teaching the 10%, you should teach the 90% as well, right? You should teach the 90% as well. So this is what hello twins Inc. Now we're going to get into credit. This is what stops a lot of blessings. This is what stops your cash flow, besides you not taking action, besides you not recognizing your gift or your talent to this world that you can make money off of, that you can monetize, right? These are some other very practical things. So don't think now that you can give, for example, $1,000 offering and then all of your money problems will mysteriously go away. Don't think that. And because one of the main things that I received as a giver was the thought process and the gift ability and the favor of God to do credit repair. There's 50 billion people with bad credit, but there's a very small select group of people who can fix it, right? And so that's one of the gifts that God gave me. He also gave me the gift of strategizing. I just don't coach on finances, but I coach sports and basketball as well. And one of the gifts he gave me through that is learning how to strategize, right? And that's why budgeting alone, it won't work. And what do I mean by budgeting alone? I'm gonna give you this example, this scenario. If I just make an example of, okay, you're spending $10 a day on lunch, right? This is what budgeting oftentimes looks like or sound like. You're spending $10 a day on lunch, 30 days a week, 30 days out of the month. Thank you for the digital love Instagram. Is that Musclehead on Instagram? Because he has a testimony. Musclehead just gave me messaged me a picture on his Instagram. All right, he gave me the thumbs up of $25,000 approval Navy Federal card. So you all give him some digital love. Hit the digital love button for that, because $25,000 credit card, right, can be converted into cash, and you can take that money and make investments. You can buy houses with it, right? You can invest in the stock market in it. And if you have the right stocks, you can get paid monthly, right, dividends from those stocks. If you're into Forex or cryptocurrency, which I don't know anything about, but you can convert credit into cash, right? And you can start investing in assets. I'm going to get into where your money is going in 90% in a few minutes. But I want to go ahead and say this. I want to make this statement and disclaimer. You have to stop using your credit, right, to consume stuff, to be a consumer. We got to stop looking at credit in that way, in that light. Yeah, thank you, Jesus from California. He said $25K. That is amazing. It is outstanding. You can buy 5 houses, right, from tax liens at $5,000. You get 5 houses. You know, renovate those houses and rent them out, right? We have a generation. Thank you for the digital love, Musclehead. We have I just read an article on yesterday that millennials are not becoming homeowners or home buyers because of something called PMI insurance, right? That's private. Let me cut this other light on. Private mortgage. Some of that has to do with, excuse me for a minute, private mortgage insurance. Private mortgage insurance. So I guess I won't connect that. So, you know, these are strategies that I teach and show people how through credit cards that you can get private mortgage insurance dropped from your house, right? Through using credit cards in the right way. If you want to know if you're making the correct purchases with credit card, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take the things you buy or you purchase with credit cards, right? Have a yard sale with those items and see how much they sell for. Okay, we're gonna do like the Bible says, we're gonna Selah, we're gonna pause and think on those things, right? If you are buying things with credit card, have a yard sale. That's right, YouTube. YouTube says, hey, and put those items in the yard sale, right? And then see how much the community or people think they're worth, right? But you can buy homes. I bought my first house that I flipped for $5,000 with a Discover credit card. A lot of people would tell you can use plastic, swipe the cards, and get it transferred to your business. If you have a business entity, have it set up on a plastic account and swipe it over and get it transferred to your business checking account. But the way it worked with me was I had balance transfer checks, and I simply wrote the check out to myself and deposited it into my account, right? Had the money into my account, presented a cashier's check, all from a credit card, and took it, purchased the house, $5,000 cash, right? Renovated the house and sold it for 10 times, as Grant Cardone may say, 10x, 10 times that amount from a $5,000 Discover credit limit, right? So you can do powerful things with credit cards. They can make you rich. One of the things that, again, financial guru Dave Ramsey teaches or suggests is that you need to cut up your credit cards. But this is what I don't really understand about that concept alone. I just read that banks, for overdraft fees for 2018 alone, right? Check this out. Have collected $11.45 billion. Billion. Overdraft fees alone, just in overdraft fees. So if you have a fear of using credit card, but you're always getting overdraft or NSF, insufficient fund fees, then you're a person who probably don't need a credit card, because if you can't manage your debit card, you surely won't have the willpower and the discipline to manage a credit card, right? And so at the end of the day, whether it's a debit card or a credit card, both of them have to be managed well. And this is going back to credit church. Who took my money? You have to be good stewards of the money that you have. That's right in Matthew 25, right? The parable of talents. One person took their talent, or one servant took it and hid it in the ground. He was not profitable in it. And this hurts a lot of Christians in church as well, for the people who says, hey, I just want to be debt free, right? I just don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. You're like that talent. Hello, Antonio. On YouTube, because I was trying to think of the person who gave me that name, Credit Church. I was live in Texas on a Sunday, and someone said Credit Church. Was that you, Antonio? Because if it was, I just want to tell you, I have branded that. You know, I'm like Kanye West has branded, or he's in the process of trademarking Sunday service. So I am trademarking Credit Church. So Antonio, do I owe that credit to you? If not, I figure out who it was. But and so yeah, that's part of the problem of the 90%. They have a scarce mentality. They have it's a difference between saving and investing. And this steward had a mindset that I'm gonna save this one little talent. It wasn't you on this time, okay? It may be another Antonio, okay? But thanks for tuning in. This man had a scarcity mindset. This is why I hate budgeting, right? You all make sure you like and share this video. He had a scarcity mindset that I don't want to invest this money. I'm going to save this one little talent that I have, right? And the other two servants invested. They went out into the marketplace. And the Bible doesn't tell us how. That's why I'm not a financial advisor that says, hey, you need to invest in real estate. You need to invest in land. You need to invest in cryptocurrency. Or you need to invest in stock. The Bible never tells you what they invested in, but they did invest, right? It's a difference between saving and investing. Saving never gives you a rate of return, right? The banks lend your cash out as quick as you deposit it in the account, right? Because they know that cash is a very low yielding asset. That's why you get no interest rate or very little interest rate at 0.5% on any type of an account, right, that you put in the bank for a cash return. I think Bank of America right now is yielding under 1% on CD accounts or money market accounts, because they understand that the only thing that makes cash valuable is that you can use it to purchase for the exchange of goods and services, right? But because cash is being printed out on a daily basis, right? How valuable is anything that's being printed out on a daily basis? Things that are valuable like Rolls Royce, Bentleys, diamond, gold, they are not in circulation on a daily basis. There are limited supplies and limited editions, right? There's no more gold that's going to be made, right? There's no more pearls that's going to be made. There's no more diamonds that's going to be made. So that's what makes something valuable, or that's what makes something of value, right? So what you want to do is take that invisible money that the banks give you, right? When you get a mortgage or you get a car, you don't get the cash money in hand. They take invisible money that's created on paper called a contract, and now you are able to get something physical and tangible with it, right? And then if you don't pay as agreed on that invisible money that they just gave you, they come back and take that tangible asset. If you don't pay on that house as agreed, the banks come back and take that house through foreclosure. If you don't pay on that vehicle as agreed, even though vehicles do depreciate and they're not a greater asset as a house or land, but even if you forfeit on that loan for that vehicle, they come back and they take that tangible asset in form of a repossession, right? So you have to do the same thing with your credit and with credit cards. You take the invisible and you create tangible. That's what the Bible says is called faith, right? Okay, Jesus. So I'm going to stay on topic. Now, Jesus made a comment on YouTube about paying off high interest rate credit cards. But let me tell you something. Interest rates are just interesting, right? For example, if I could get a 20% loan and I can purchase a tangible asset, and I pay off that loan and let me break this down, and I pay off that loan in 1 or 2 years, then I still pay very little interest rate, right? But if I get a house at 3.75% interest rate and pay it off in 30 years, then I will have paid double that loan back. Because you can have low interest rate, but over a long period of time, right, a $300,000 house loan paid as agreed in 30 years will cost me $515,000, almost double the loan amount. And so that's why I have my cash flow strategies in place, because the name of the game, people, is to get you tangible assets, is to get you more money than your income, is to get into this home-based business model, which is another thing. This is what I call my W-4 of wealth. If you have a job and you have a paycheck, this is your W-4, right? These are the top portion of your W-4 that only employees have access or have benefits to. The top section. If you are just an employee, this is all you have benefits to. But on the second portion of this W-4 is something called deductions, adjustments, and additional income sheet. And for $49, let me write this in, $49.99, you get access to this, and it will give you an additional $200 to $800 a month on average. I'm spelling this out because people always ask me for the website. On average of extra money out of your paycheck. And I know you can't see the website, but it's moneymindsetmoves.myecon.net. That's myecon.net. And this is one of the secrets to keeping and maintaining a high credit score, which is keeping your credit cards and your charge cards interest at a low amount. Keeping that ratio under 30%. So let's get into how to reap your harvest, right? Who's taking your money? We can get right into that. I prefer 7%, but those credit cards debt are those department store cards. To keep a high credit score, you need to keep it on 30%. I don't even know if you all can even see this. I don't think you can. Let me know, because it's got a glare on my end, so I might just have to talk. I may just have to talk because it has a glare on my end, and let me decrease my lighting, because we're going to get into the meat and potato of who's taking your money. I don't even think that helps. So keep your cards under 30%. I don't think that glare is going to help you. Now, let's say Jesus talked about interest rate. Who took my money, right? How to reap the 90% if you do give the 10%, right? How to reap the 90% if you are a giver of the 10%. Now, if you can't see because of the glare, I apologize in advance, but just follow along with me and just listen, right? If you can't see the board, just listen. So let's say you have a, let's start with an auto loan, and you purchase a vehicle at $30,000, right? A $30,000 vehicle. And so let's say that $30,000, let me see, I had it wrote down, or $35,000 vehicle, because I don't want to be out. Your monthly payment for a person, let me see, what did I have for their interest rate? Okay, a person that, let's say they got approved at one, and this is true and accurate, you can get approved for 1.9% on vehicles right now. Automobile loans are dirt cheap. 1.9%. So that's a $35,000 vehicle. Person A that has a good credit score, and what I'm going to call a good credit score in this scenario, if that person have like a 750, they're going to pay for a $35,000 auto or vehicle, on average $583 a month, right? So let's say someone here, because I got a lot of people who say, I just want to get a 630, or I just want to have a 620. I'm trying to qualify for a home, and I just want a 620 credit score. Okay, now you have a 630. Well, that same vehicle is going to cost you, listen, $966.66 a month. So look at the difference of the cash flow. You want to know who took your money? Why the 10% is not working with you? It all starts and ends with credit, people. It all starts and ends with credit. So let's look at credit card debt. Let's say the same two people, one with the 750 credit score, one with the 630, have $10,000 of credit card debt, right? The monthly payment for the person with the 750 credit score is $108.33 a month. So $108. The person with the 630 credit score has to pay triple that amount, $383.33. Who took your money? This is where your money is going. Even if you give the 10%, this is what's eating up the 90%. And let me tell you, no one can effectively do budgeting if they're not addressing or helping people, putting them in position to get a higher credit score. Anything over a 700 in credit gives you preferable interest rate on anything that you finance. Right? So let's say these same two people, people say, hey, just get over a 620 across the board to qualify for a home. Okay, we still got that person that say, okay, I'm at a 630. They apply for a home, $250,000. The person with a 750 credit score, monthly payment, $1,157 a month. Right? The person, which is not this bad off, it's not that bad off. Well, I'm just gonna say this person, the mortgage is financed 3.75% interest rate. Right? This person with the 630 credit score is at 7% interest rate. Now, if you had a home at 7% interest rate, you might think to yourself, that's wonderful, that's great. But okay, so now this $1,667 a month, whereas it is $1,157. That's almost a $500 difference. This is at 3.75%. This is at 7% on the same $250,000 mortgage loan. So out of these two people, this person, right, on cash flow averaging, their monthly total with the higher credit score with the 750, they're paying out on the auto, the credit card at $10,000, the mortgage, and the $35,000 vehicle. They're paying out $1,849 a month, right? Versus this person, they're paying out triple, $3,013 a month. So this is on average $1,000, right? And $63.80 more that this person's low credit score at 630 is causing versus the person that's in the 700s. So what could you do with an extra $1,000 a month of cash flowing into your house? And that's where the 90% is going. That's why telling people to save on that sandwich, start making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and save yourself $10 a day until you address the core of the problem, that won't work. So let me tell you another way. Velocity banking. How many of you have heard of velocity banking? Comment, yes, no. Whether you're watching this live or on the replay, have you all ever heard of velocity banking? Okay, I got a yes. Antonio. On YouTube, I got people live and on the 7 thumbs up. Give me more thumbs up. Good evening. Good evening. DeAndre, I think that's the name on YouTube. Got another yes on YouTube. John, another yes on YouTube. Another yes on YouTube. No, I got a no. Deidre, I got a no on Facebook. Thank you, Bruno. Instagram, I got a yes. Periscope, have you heard of velocity banking? Right? I got another yes on YouTube. Anyone come in on Periscope? Have you heard of velocity banking? So let me show you how you take credit, right? We can walk through this as well. You take credit cards in particular. That's why I wouldn't advise anybody to cut up your credit cards. It's too much purchasing power. It's too many things you can do with a credit card. That's why I was referred to as the queen, because the queen in chess is the most powerful piece on the board because it can move. Thank you, Mike, for sending me some digital love. It can move diagonal. It can move vertical. It has so many different positions on the board of chess, and the same way it works on in your financial game. Now, the king is the most important piece because the king is the one that you're always trying to capture, right? So in the financial game, the king will be the capital. So what is capital? Anyone, this is the Q&A, and we're winding down, and any questions you all have about credit, you can ask. What is capital? Somebody answer that for me. I'm not going to tell that answer. What is capital? In the financial guide, what is capital? What is capital? Have you all ever heard of capital? I'm not getting an answer from anybody on any of my 4 platforms. They said no. Bruno, okay, Bruno on Facebook. Thank you, Periscope. Capital is money, but it's not your money. It does not have to be your money. See, the only people that can tell you that it takes money to make money are the people that's trying to get your money. It does not take money to make money. You can use the bank monies to take money. It takes credit to create money. If you have credit, you can get money from the banks. You can call it TBM, the bank's money, or you can call it OPM, other people's money. So the king of cash flow in your life should be getting capital so we can buy what, class? Not stuff. Not using our credit. Because even if I had a credit card at 20% interest rate to get a balance transfer, and I take that credit card, assets, thank you, John Cox on YouTube, and I take that 20%, right, and I purchase a home, and I purchase a flip house, and I purchase a real estate investing, right, the cash flow that could be coming in if I rent that house out at $1,000 a month, right, if I get a home at $7,000 and at 20% interest rate on a credit card, and I'm charging $1,000 a month, which is very inexpensive rent payment, right? For a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. Even in Mississippi, that's very reasonable and low and fair. And I'm getting $1,000 a month, and in 7 months, I pay that 20% interest, appreciating asset. Thank you, said Mac on Periscope. And I paid that credit card off in 7 months. Then you're not going to accumulate the whole 20% interest because your balance is decreasing. And then after that, you have cash flow for life. You have cash flow, right, for life, right? And so we're at the point now, people, where the Federal Reserve is making low or zero interest rate because our economy needs to boost. Our economy is not doing well. The economy is going to reset itself in a couple of months. We have this tariffs going on, and more houses are going to be foreclosed. Yeah, it is cheap. I know California rent. States like California and Las Vegas usually are not states that even try to rent property out because the return on your investment is not worth the cost, right? And so now more than ever, within the next 6 months, you're going to have opportunities to use your credit score to increase cash flow into your life because homes may get foreclosed on. The stock market is going to crash and get lower. Now you can buy these stocks where you didn't have. Thank you so much, Mr. Lee Brown on Facebook. Where you didn't have, you can buy stocks cheap. You know, in Mississippi we had a store called Dirt Cheap. Dirt Cheap. That's how you reap the 90% as well. You have to take advantages of, just like in the Bible, right? When they went through 7 years of prosperity and 7 years of famine, you have to prepare for the famine. And when things go on a discount, you need to have your credit in place. You need to be in position, and you can take your credit and do so many different investments with it. You know, even Facebook is coming out with a new cryptocurrency, which is Libra, right? So this is how velocity banking works. In short, I can put my crown on. Let's say you have I don't think I have any paper towel to wipe this board off with, but some of you all maybe can't see the board anyway. But so let me try to switch up markers, and that might help. Let me try to use a black marker to understand how velocity banking works. Let's say you took out $180,000 loan when you first purchased your house or your home, right? Let's dim this light. And it was, I think dim the light makes it worse. Now, might make it a little better. It was 180. Okay, let me just cut it off all together for right now. Let's say 175,000. $175,000 house. Well, that mark is not working. And you pay down that house to, let's say you've had it for 8 years, 10 years, $175,000. Let's say after 8 years you have it paid down to a balance of $136,000. So we're gonna go back to the 750 credit score, right? And let's say you got it locked in at 3.75%. So this is how you use credit cards. Some people call it card stacking, right? To help you with not only with your PMI and a mortgage or principal mortgage. Now, if you're a person that have not bought a home and you're contemplating purchasing a home, knowing this is going to help you from the gate pay that mortgage off in 5 to 7 years. See, when I purchased this home, I didn't know about Velocity Bank until about 3 years ago, right? And so let's say you paid it down, you have a 750 credit score, you got we're going to keep using 3.75% interest. And the way you calculate your interest on your mortgage, when you get your mortgage statement in the mail, this is mine for example. I'm with Chase Mortgage. When you get your mortgage statement in the mail, it already has a breakdown of how much you pay in principal, how much you pay in interest, and how much you pay in escrow. And let me tell you this too, this secret, that the higher your credit score, the lower your escrow. Now you may be asking me, how does that happen? Well, that happens because if you can get cheaper homeowners insurance with a higher credit score. It's a lot of people who don't know that their vehicle insurance, homeowners insurance, or apartment insurance is determined by their credit score. But yes, they do a soft pull whenever you call in to get your vehicle insurance applied, or homeowners insurance. They do a pull on your credit report, and all of that is calculated in how much you pay for your insurance for your vehicles or your apartment or your homeowners. So once you get inexpensive or a very low rate of homeowners insurance, it drops your escrow amount, right? So that's just something free I threw out there. So you got $136,000. If you want to calculate that interest, you multiply it by 12. This represents, you multiply your balance. Let's say you're at $136,000 now, and you multiply it by 3.75. That's your interest rate. So, for example, if you have a $150,000 balance on your home, your interest rate is at 4%. You will multiply that by 4. If it's at 5%, so you take whatever the balance is and you multiply it by the interest rate on the mortgage, right? In this case, it will come out to $510,000. And this is why I say interest rates or interest thing, because this is a 3.75 interest rate. But if you do nothing on this mortgage at $136,000, this is how much you're going to pay back if you pay it as agreed for 30 years. If you pay back your mortgage as agreed for 15 or 30 years and you don't use this concept, not only will you be paying high PMI, private mortgage insurance, which is preventing millennials from being home buyers, but you're going to pay back double. This is not even double the amount. This is almost triple the amount of the original loan. That's on a $200,000 house, $250,000 house, whatever the situation may be. So you take your balance, multiply it by the interest, right? And then you divide this by 12. Okay, 12 represents the number of months in the year. So this principal, let's say this payment is $1,250 a month. Now, in this scenario, we had a $250,000 house, but we're going to say $1,250 a month. Your interest out of the $1,250 is going to be $425. So that means for every payment that you have coming in, right, $425 of this is going towards interest every month, which means that only about $800 is going toward principal. And escrow, you can't forget escrow. The escrow price is going to be $200. So now you only have $500 going towards the principal. What is the principal? The principal is the core. Let's say this is a dartboard, right? And we got little circles coming in. The principal is the original loan amount right here in the center, $175,000 right there in the center. So now you're making payments and you're only hitting every month for 12 times out of the year, for 30 or 15 years. If you do nothing, if you don't use your credit card to pay off your mortgage, your payments are only hitting the outer surface of this amount that you originally borrowed, of the core amount. And if this amount, okay, let me reset this. And if that principal amount is never tapped, then you're going to end up paying that amount of interest back, right? And so this is how we combat that. We call it, or I call it, lump sum payments. Now, once you use the W4 wealth strategy, let's say you get an additional $500 or $200 or $800 or $1,000 out of your check. We start there first because you might say, I don't have a business idea, or I'm in negative cash flow. This only works with positive cash flow. So you get the money in and you pay down your credit card or your department store debts first, right? You want to get that balance to under 30%. If you have no negatives, no charge off, no collections, not a lot of inquiries on your credit report, you should be over a 750 credit score just by doing this, by using the cash flow strategy methods. So once you get this extra money in and now you pay down or off those credit cards, you're going to use those same credit cards. Let's say we got you at $500 more dollars a month out of your paycheck. You went from bringing home $2,500 to $3,000, right? Pay down. You're going to now take those same credit limits. Let's say you have $5,000, and you're going to throw a bomb, not bullets. See, this is the difference between budgeting. Budgeting throws bullets, but this credit to cash flow throw bombs. And you're going to throw a big bomb, and you're going to take out a big chunk. We're going to say all of these payments to trim in effect to get you closer to that principal. We're going to eat this up like acid. We're going to get all of that. And what you're going to do is say, okay, I have an extra $500. And so it's going to take me 10 months to pay this $5,000. Now, I would prefer, and if you're at the over the 720 credit score, you should easily be able to get approved for credit cards with 0% interest rate. So even on your credit cards, right, you won't be gaining any interest during this 10-month period, because they're all, Chase is a very good credit card, Bank of America, all good at giving you 0% interest rate for up to 12 months to 15 months. So you pay this off, you get no interest on your credit card, and then what do? You rinse and repeat, and you start this all over again, right? Then we throw another bomb, boom, another $5,000. This one strategy for this person's home loan, right? Let's check out the numbers. And then I'm gonna open up for questions. If they just did this four times, which would be 40 months, which is like right over, it's 3 years and 4 months. Well, yeah, because it's 36. Yeah, 40 months, 3 years, and not even 4 full years. If they did this and applied this and recycle and rinse and repeat, $20,000, this person saved 4.5 years off their mortgage, which means they automatically went from a 30-year to 26 years repayment. And then the dollar amount that they saved was $44,574. And then let's look at the interest amount. It's supposed to be a plus sign, no, it looks like a multiply. And then $24,574 plus in interest. So their total amount saved is right at $66,000 and 4 years or 4.5 years off of their mortgage. $66,000. So now you do this for 5 to 7, you do this 2 or 3 more cycles, And in 7 years, top 8 years, because the lower the principal go, the more it eats up the interest, and the years begin to multiply at this point, right? You'll pay off $175,000 mortgage, for example, in 7 to 8 years. But your only way to do that is through credit cards, because you don't want to use your money, right, and dump it into a house, your personal money, because now at this point you might need to have your personal money. I do believe in having a certain amount of stacking cash, but you can use your personal money now to start back investing. You can use your personal cash, and like we said or stated earlier, you can flip that cash into creating assets from liabilities, right, and create more cash flow. So at this point, I'm going to open up the floor. Any questions? Any questions about credit? I usually get, how much do I normally charge, or, things like that. I told you anything can be negative, can be removed. Bankruptcies, charge off, collections, if it's not reported 100% accurate, 100% clear information. So that's why you challenge the bureaus. Any questions at this point? I think I've done enough talking, so I'm going to open up my floor for a minute to take any questions on Periscope, Instagram, Facebook, or you can also use a line of credit, John. You don't have to use credit cards, but it's so much easier to get to credit approved for credit cards, and the interest rate can be at 0%. That's why I like to give the example of credit cards. Line of credits will come with a little bit more. It's a little bit more difficult to get approved for, and like I said, interest rate is not important, but you never know what can happen in your life, so it's always good to have 0% interest rate. Thank you, Timothy Richardson. The website for the W4 Wealth Training is www.moneymindsetmoves. That's MOVES with the S. .myecon.net. That's 𝒲𝒽𝑒𝓇𝑒, MYECON. That's short for My Economy. That's the financial business that you have to have an umbrella to be joined in order to get the 475 tax deductions and to implement the W4 wealth strategies. Right? You're going to miss out on this because this is not available to employees. And you do have to keep the 34. It's like $34.95 a month. You have to keep it on a monthly basis, because if you're not in the business entity, then you will no longer get the business benefits. That makes sense. So it's illegal to do it any other type of way. Any more questions? Hello, Mr. Hillcock on Periscope. All right, I'm way over my time. It's 8:58. I'm logging off in 2 minutes. Hold it up again. Okay. YouTube. Any more questions? Oh, the King documentary. Okay, said Matt. The King documentary, yes, it's Life of a King. That's something that Instagram I got it in. It's telling me my live is too long, so let me end it up. Cuban Gooding Jr. did. It's just about chess. It's not anything about finances, but it's a very good documentary. So you definitely want to check that out. It's just about learning how to play the game of chess and helping some underprivileged youth with that. On Periscope, yes, I do inquiry removal. That process usually is about 15 to 30 days. But it has to be accounts that you did not get approved for. You don't want to remove an inquiry for an account that they gave you credit for, because then very possible that account will be closed. So you'll be losing a good account in that situation. Was it another question on YouTube? I was closing out my Instagram page. I might just see it. All right, it's 9 o'clock on the dot. Reach out to me write my email address, any services, and I will put this in my description once it uploads. You know, I only like to talk about math when I'm teaching about financials. Will you get a mortgage at the same time you get business credit? Fix my credit. Uh, I would get the mortgage first. If you're trying to get approved for a home, it's something I tell people. Don't get your credit pulled, because if you get more than 6 inquiries in 6 months, it can not only disqualify you for a home loan, but it also could disqualify you for business credit as well. So go ahead and secure your home if you're seeking to be a homeowner. Get that under the bag, right? Because a lot of times you go vehicle and home shopping, they would shotgun your credit, and a lot of inquiries that you don't know will end up being on there. So secure that first, and then get your business credit, right? I'm sorry, I know this is hard, but I'll put in the description. My email is LD, that's for Latanya Deloach, LD at fixmycreditandcash.com. Fix, F-I-X, my credit and cash.com. So just shoot me an email. Consultations are $50. You get a credit consultation for $50. You have to get that done first. And yeah, I send you instructions on how to do that once you email me. That consultation gave you a full analysis of what needs to be done, suggested on your credit report. Understanding your FICO score works different than your Vantage score. Just because you have an account that's negative, it does not mean it needs to be deleted. If you have something in 2014, that's no longer impacting or hurting your credit score, right? I had someone today that had 4 charge-offs from student loans from 2014, but they had a 697 credit score, and they had 2 collections that was in 2018. The 4 charge-offs were not affecting their credit report. It was the 2 collections. So once they get that 2 collections removed, their credit score probably is going to increase from 50 to 100 points, and they'll be over the 720 club. So, okay, my batteries are getting low. Any more questions? Hey, thanks for tuning in. This is Credit Church. I will get that. That is on the trademark. I love you all. My Facebook, YouTube, now my Periscope, my Instagram family. Um, okay, trying to get your money up. Do that W4 wealth strategy. I tell people bad credit is more expensive to have than good credit, because you're paying higher interest rates on everything or anything that you have financed, or you cannot put yourself in a position to get access to capital, right, to start investing so you can increase your cash flow. Good night, you all. I stayed on longer than expected. And now back to football. Hey, this is to better credit, cash flow. Also, last thing, I also dispute debt collectors. I save people hundreds and thousands of dollars from doing, for having to pay debt collectors, because they give you a 30-day window by law to dispute that debt. So reach out to me first. If you have a debt collector trying to collect from you, medical debts are usually my highest ones, but I have some people that have debt collectors, that accounts that have been sold to collection for credit cards as well. And they say that, okay, Antonio, you're in my econ. All right, you're in that W4 wealth. Congratulations, congratulations. So, Queen of Credit, Cash Flow, and debt collectors, thank you all for tuning in. This is another Credit Church. We've wrapped it up. Let me stop all my broadcasts on our thing. YouTube, make sure that you all hit the thumbs up. YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I'm trying to see if I can say this video. Yeah, say the camera roll on Periscope, and say this also on all my channels. Hold on, YouTube. I guess I'm logging off on you all last, so you got a question, you need to ask it now. I can't get my phone. Okay, there we go. Thinking about buying land. Do I need an LLC first? If you want to get business credit to buy that land with, I would suggest you go ahead and incorporate you an LLC, because it's better. You'll use your personal credit as leverage, right? You'll use that personal credit as leverage, but you most definitely need an LLC to get the thousands of credit lines under your business name. So go ahead. I know like in Mississippi it's only like $50 to incorporate here. You know, it's hundreds in other states. So get your LLC, get your personal credit together. I'm not talking about getting vendor accounts, and once all of that is in place, your LLC and everything, then you can use that business credit cards, convert it to cash. Okay, Louisiana, I don't think it's that expensive in Louisiana either. So yeah, go ahead and get that LLC in place. If your personal credit, you want to be definitely over a 680, 720, no inquiries, nothing negative within the last 2 years, late payments, bankruptcies, charge off, any collections, none of that. And you're pretty much, you'll be good to go. You know, you start filing for business credit under your LLC using your personal credit as leverage. Hey, I'm signing off, you all. Make sure you all hit that thumbs up.